Well, our senior reporter Rita Tinina has been following the events at the Supreme Court and now joins us live from the precincts of the Apex Court. Rita, President Uhuru Kenyatta was to give a response on the petition seeking to invalidate his win in the repeat election. What has been happening for the better part of the morning?
Well, Michelle, right now the court has taken a break until 3 p.m. when it resumes. The petitioners, Harun Ndubi representing John Jomue as well as Khelef Khalifa will have 45 minutes to make their responses. The other petitioner, former MP Harun Mwau, will also have 45 minutes to make his responses, and after that the hearing will have come to an end. This morning, since the court got underway, the session got underway, President Uhuru Kenyatta, through his lawyers, has been making his arguments against the grounds that were tabled before the court by the petitioners. And the main ground is the issue of nominations, that the IEBC failed to conduct fresh nominations for candidates wishing to vie for the presidency. Harun Mwau arguing that the election is a process, it is not an event, and the IEBC should have initiated the elections through nominations. John Jomue and Khelef Khalifa also arguing about the nominations. They also argue about the issue of violence and intimidation, and the fact that the IEBC, the commissioners, did not conduct the elections in an impartial manner. And so when the lawyers for Uhuru Kenyatta, led by Fred Ngatia, appeared before the court to make their submissions, they had various arguments. On the issue of nominations, they said that this process, this repeat presidential election did not require. There is nowhere in law that it is required that nominations should be held. They argue that nominations are only required to be held during a general election and when a candidate, a presidential candidate, or rather the office of the president falls vacant. There was the issue of the withdrawal of Raila Odinga from the presidential race. Ngatia arguing that Raila, in fact, did not withdraw from the race. He abandoned it, and that has no effect on the election that was later to happen on the 26th of October. The same argument was made by the Attorney General, who also advanced another argument saying the issue of violence and intimidation. The government, he says, the IEBC did everything it could, including deploying all security officers, including prison officers, to ensure that materials got to the polling stations. And officials were also at the polling stations, but they argue that it is the leaders from those areas, and those leaders, they say, were not interested in the elections, who instigated the violence to ensure that the elections did not take place. In the argument by Uhuru's lawyers, they also argue that the people who have come here as petitioners, Harun Mwau, Khelef Khalifa, as well as John Jomue, should not be here in the first place. They do not have the grounds. They are not affected by the election. He says, Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, in his argument, saying that the three in the affidavits did not show evidence that they voted, but they're arguing that they were affected by this election, and so it should not be happening. Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi actually dismissing them, saying Harun Mwau is only a fascinated layman. His application is only the fascination of a layman, dismissing Khelef Khalifa and John Jomue as high priests of the civil society, only seeking donor funding through this petition. And so when the court resumes this afternoon, there is also the issue, scrutiny. The IEBC yesterday was ordered to give scrutiny forms 34A, 34B, 34C, as well as a certified copy of the voters' register. And Harun Ndubi for Khelef Khalifa and John Jomue has been given the discretion. He can give a report of what that scrutiny came up with, but the judges, David Maraga, telling him that to be sure that he will just use the 45 minutes, whether he uses the 45 minutes to make responses to Uhuru Kenyatta, the IEBC, as well as the IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati, or whether he will use the 45 minutes to give a report of what that scrutiny came up with, that is up to him. Before the court took a break, there was an argument before court when Harun Ndubi said he wanted to make a report on the scrutiny. The other lawyers for Uhuru Kenyatta, the IEBC and Chebukati opposed that. They say that would be tantamount to opening a fresh petition with fresh evidence while the case is nearly coming to an end. So, Michelle, waiting in the next 1 hour or so, the judges should be back in court after the 45 minutes by Ndubi, as well as the lawyers for Harun Mwau, led by Benjamin Musyoka, then the hearing will come to an end. After that, the judges will be taking a retreat to come up with their judgment. Michelle.
All right. Many